Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Today we have a bit of historical session, and we will be talking about some of the players which were relatively famous in the 19th century, from old school players, let's call it that way. And specifically, these four games will be played between Anderssen and Dufrense for the first one, second one, a Bird against Morphy, Steinitz against Mongredien, and Zukertort against Blackburne. So for anyone who would like to start the historical part of chess, it is essential to start from these early ages. And eventually, if it will be interesting and our audience will be turning into that, we will go into more depth. Before we dive into the games and the technical aspects of how they have played, I will give you a couple of historical facts. I have it in front of me, the notes, to talk about. Absolutely. It's mandatory to believe that. So let's check it out. For example, Adolf Anderssen, from 1818, he was born and passed away in 1879. He was German and had definitely. And this is a bit strange that I noticed a lot of legendary players didn't really have that long life when I noticed looking at some historical facts. So eventually we will cover that too. So he was German and was quite good in 1850s mostly. That was his main field, and was famous with his brilliant attacking style. He was doing a lot of sacrifices as well. And in this romantic era, many things were going quite wild, and people didn't really know how to defend it precisely. So it was quite exciting matches. So to talk about some of the highlights about his career, he actually managed to be one of the best player in the world at that time. Probably he was considered in top three along with Daniel Hurwitz and Lionel Keritsky, and won the London tournament in 1851. So London tournament actually had a really long history, and he was one of the first winner of it. And he has a couple of immortal games against Kieritsky and Dufresne, which one of them, which we will be talking about today as well. He was called kind of an unofficial world champion before Wilhelm Steinitz. So at that time, it was not invented. It was in 1888, the first world championship match officially between Zukertort and Steinitz, and we will be analyzing both of these players today. But it appeared that there were no titles. That's the main reason why it is called unofficial. And the player which plays with the black pieces, Jean Dufresne, is also nationality German from 1829 to 1893. He was author, teacher, and definitely good amateur player, but definitely not one of the best or professional one. Was famous with his solid and classical style. Definitely. Just comparing, let's say, one on another, we could probably say that yes, that Andersen was on a higher level. So this is what we have in front of us, and this is kind of the historical aspects which I wanted to mention about these two players, and we can dive in and check it out. During the chess tournament, correct? Yes. Definitely. Before we start, just one interruption I would like to do. We just need a little bit of technical adjustments. The cameras are a little bit frozen on the screen. So if we adjust it, yes, seems like on the stream it's not rolling. Just a little bit of refresh and the program, and it will do the job. It will do the magic. Here we have, yes, it is frozen. It's not working for some reason. Let's have a look. Now we started to roll. Yes, all set. Fair point. Hello, hello, Hamad. Exactly. I know how much time they have spent as well for each move as well. Exactly. So I'll be able to deliver that information too. No problem, guys. You can ask. I'm there. I'm the guy to answer on that. Definitely. And especially whatever is coming next was like mandatory. You know, when nowadays you see Rui Lopez or it should be, let's say, Berlin defense or Petrov, aka Russian, like this Italian with Evans Gambit, which is about to come shortly, was like, you must play it. Otherwise, it was like, you were a shame to your family or like you are a disgrace of this game or something like that. Everyone was supposed to play that, I noticed. So exclusively. And even big theories were getting developed at that time on this variation as well. Yes, indeed. But one more thing, sorry about that. It seems like in the chat, someone is mentioning that they cannot hear. It seems like actually my voice is going through, but yours is not. I think I know it exactly. Audio mixer, just the one in the middle, just needs the refresh. Just recently it started to lag. No, there are the three dots over there. Yes. We have just properties. No, properties should be good enough. Yes. And you select something random and then select it back to default again.
Okay, now
yes, here we go. Now it should be good.
Now it's
Let us know, guys, in the comments. It should be good now to go. It seems like.
I think no.
Sorry
no,
about the technical issues. No, yes, it should be fine now.
Okay, so let's continue. Yeah, thanks for telling us because sometimes something doesn't work. Okay, short castle, great move I think, because white is getting ready for a massive attack on the black king. Georgi, in case you would be black, what would you do here?
Well, I usually am a big advocate of not taking several pawns back to back
So
because
you
I've
would
had
not take.
childhood traumas. No, definitely not. I will go for something like d3 with great pleasure. I think it's
Okay.
enough. I don't want to accelerate all the development, and I don't want to end up on YouTube later mentioning like how to not play chess, for example, and how to not get punished for that. Because I know immediately I capture the pawn on c3, it will be, hello, YouTube, how are you doing there? And I'll be very anti-hero. With that actually in mind, I have one story which I must say it right now. So one of the Georgian grandmaster, I will not mention the names, was playing the Olympiad back in the day, and he had a phenomenal performance. Only one game he lost, which was against Judith Polgar. And other things, he has beaten a couple of 2700s, had a phenomenal games as well. And at the end, the only game he lost became extremely famous that everyone was recognizing him from that. Oh, you are the guy which played against Polgar, right? And so on. So yeah, guys, don't take on c3 unless you want to be anti-hero and very famous, or you're quite certain about what to do in these cases.
Okay, so there are different views, of course, on that. Kasparov once said, in case you want to be a good chess player, you must be greedy. So we should also not underestimate the words of Kasparov, seriously speaking. So in case you can win something, you don't see a direct attack, of course you take. So chess is a material game. In case you can take, you take. Usually a good thing. Right now, obviously, the king is on the 8, so we have to do something. We have to do something very fast with black. And in the game, we see the move d3. It makes sense. It makes definitely more sense than, for example, take on c3, because everything is open now, at least with d3. We try to keep the knight on b1. But in case, let's say, I would be black here, I would have already quite a bad feeling, because queen b3, knight g5, typical ways of attacking the pawn of 7. I would think I have to do something very, very fast. So with black, I would think, can I actually play something like knight g7 with the idea of playing d5? I don't care that white is winning the pawn on d4, because I think black might be already in trouble. So very risky position. There is no time to waste. And d3 is not a bad move, but it's wasting a bit of time. In case you have a feeling that very soon you're getting mated, and I would feel like that right now with black, I would think I have to do something. So knight e7, d5, at least to close the bishop on c4. Eventually, in case I'm lucky, I'm going to castle short side, so maybe I'm going to survive here. So this is what I would feel here with the black pieces. In the game, I have the move d3. So actually, Dufresne is playing like Georgi, and yeah, that's a sign that maybe it's possible to move to actually, yeah, sacrifice and mate Georgi. Let's see, Georgi, how
You
do
have
you
a
feel
chance,
about
guys.
Queen b3? Yeah?
Now let's.
Queen b3,
Oh,
nice.
yes.
F7
Queen
is
b3
hanging.
is already looks quite dangerous, this one. And I really don't want to be playing it with the black pieces. Similar thing. So in my games, if someone plays Evans, usually I don't even take on d4. I just capture on b4 and escape with the bishop on e7 and let them keep the pawn, because really it's too risky to be playing such positions. And especially if you are caught off guarded and you don't know exactly how to respond in the situations, it could be a hell. You might end up playing like 15 moves and already resign on spot or something similar. So yeah, it is quite risky, and this position already doesn't look so pleasant for black either. It was mandatory to take some drastic measures a little bit earlier.
So we have queen f6. Try to defend on f7. I think is making sense. Maybe a little bit more careful would be to actually to play queen e7, yeah, because after queen f6, the move in the game, there are so many ways to attack the queen. We have the move e5 with a tempo, we have the move bishop g5 coming with a tempo, so maybe queen e7 would have been a little bit more careful here, but position is already quite tricky. So it is not easy after queen e7. I mean after queen b3. So I don't know, not easy to play for black. We have queen f6 and beautiful push e5. Yeah, just push forward. I think that's the way to go. Queen g6 and rook e1, a bit slow play, no, Georgi? How do you see that?
Yes. Actually, I was a bit surprised to see that. I expected something more faster, like bishop a3 ideas, some kind of actions like that. And to my surprise, in the game a little bit later, Black had a chance to make a castle, but they did not, which is kind of a mystery to me. I still don't understand why they could get rid of all the pressure and get away from this position quite dry without any counterplay. But yeah, that's where the magic starts. When you keep the king in the center for a long period of time, you're not planning to make a castle, your opponent's pieces might start getting closer with a great danger.
Yes, this is of course true. Rook e1 is logical to keep the rook against the king. On the other hand, I think white had quite few options. For example, I think rook to d1 is looking quite nice because we want to take the pawn with a tempo. Queen is again in danger. So rook e1 is a nice positional move, which is a bit strange because back then people tried to play more force lines. So nice play eventually by Anderssen. Knight g7, very logical play as well by black. Short castle is coming next. We have the move bishop a3. Why not? Nice development. So after short castle, knight e7, eventually somewhere under attack. And we have the move b5. This is strange not to play b5, Georgi. What do you think?
That's exactly what I had in mind. So, like, why should you not make a castle in these situations, though? It doesn't make much sense, right? Just to not get away with it. I can't believe that he didn't feel any danger coming to the king. Probably white would have continued something like knight d2 perhaps and just bring the pieces in action, but still, like, playing b5 was crazy to me. I think there is only one justification based on what happened in the game, that black thought that they are way behind in development. White's pieces are getting developed quite naturally into more or less ideal squares, and he wanted to kind of speed up the process, give away the pawn back, and accelerate the development somehow, which backfired terribly later for him. But yeah, just b5 is a big surprise to me to see.
Yes, could be. I'm a bit too ambitious here, obviously. b5, black is giving away a pawn, but quite uncertain what black gets for it. That's why short castle should be played. Still, I think position of black is quite tricky, actually. The question is if black is in time for something like d6 or d5 next. So the next move of white, I think, is very decisive because white needs to find something against, for example, black's d6. Let's say easy move knight bd2, just development. Let's say we play the move d6, and the question is it better for white? Because if there is nothing instantly, I think black is perfectly okay, yeah? So, yes. Very important moment here would have arrived after the short castle. White has to find something. And rook e1, again, a useful move, but it was not a move that threats something straight away. And usually when you sacrifice, you should try, or at least you should aim for some threats. Right now, rook e1 nicely placed, but not really helping. So maybe black is completely fine actually after the short castle. So we have the move b5 been played. Obviously queen takes. Rook b8. Black is getting a rook into the game. All right, queen a4. There is no other square to go with the queen. And bishop b6. So black is bringing the bishop back because right now to castle it's just too late. Because after short castle we can simply take on e7, knight takes, and we win the piece on a5. So with the move b5 he made himself no favors. Now black is in trouble, so bishop b6, still no short castle, rook on b8, yes, useful in an endgame, but right now not doing much. So yeah, position of white just improved, and white plays a simple knight bd2, and still no castle. Georgi, how do you explain that? That's still no castle.
I have no idea. Like, I expected black to do this move many times, but at this point, I feel like they had the bet that black would beat white without making a castle. Like, there is absolutely no other shot to believe it, because look, every piece is coming, all the threats available, and black is busy with the b5, rook b8, which I don't even know what it achieved specifically in this situation. So yeah, bad play from black, and whoever is watching, kids, make a castle, please. Just play a bit safer in the situations.
So bishop b7, indeed a bit strange decision not to castle, and we have the move knight e4, so the white pieces are going forward, very logical, and still no castle. Yeah, this is really weird that we have still no castle. Bishop takes d3 now. We want to give a check and win the queen. Queen h5, and the next move, I guess, decides the game, no? Good, but there should be already quite many options to finish the game, in my opinion, because position of white is overwhelming. Still a beautiful move. Well, what's coming next? We have the knight f6 check. G takes f6 is forced. White is taking back, and finally the rook on e1 is a useful piece. Knight e7 is hanging. Yeah, this is basically game over, I guess, no? Okay.
But here comes the critical try from black, rook g8.
Rook to g8, yeah.
And all of a sudden, queen f3 is a big threat. And if we make some mistake, let's say, it might not work out so well for us.
As well, the bishop on b7.
And this bishop might get activated.
Yeah. Yes,
exactly. Yes. So perhaps black's moves b5, rook b8, bishop b7 was not too bad after all, if not the sequence of the combination of white. I remember looking at these positions with the machine, and it was claiming that there were not that many options from white to keep it going. And it was mandatory to find the most decisive sequence of the moves, which Anderssen managed to do.
Okay, quite impressive. So we have rook a1. A very impressive move, actually. Huge trap in which black is falling, but it's difficult to see. It's difficult to see why rook d1 is so useful, but with the move rook a1, white is setting up something huge to come. Black is taking the knight on f3, so I guess maybe he did not see what is coming next, or maybe he did not feel that, yeah, there must be something. Anderssen would not give him a piece for free. And the next move, very beautiful. Rook takes e7.
Rook takes e7.
Yeah, very, very nice. Knight takes e7 because there is nothing else. Queen takes d7. Yeah, it's a beauty. King takes d7 is forced. And bishop f5 check. A very, very beautiful check. Double check by the rook on d1 and the bishop on f5. And that's it, yeah, because in case of king c6, there is bishop d7. Yeah, that's a mate. King has to go back. Check. And bishop takes e7 is a mate. Yeah, very, very beautiful end of the game. What a mate. And Georgi, I have a question for you. So there is a theory that a lot of games back then actually did not happen. So they've been created. What do you think about it?
Hopefully not.
But what is your opinion about it?
I actually haven't heard about that story, that it has been created. Okay, one thing is clear. Looking at some of the combinations at that time that people could see, let's say, for example, rook d1.
Yeah, very beautiful.
As a defensive resource, that after queen f3 there is rook sacrifice and queen sacrifice, and includes the knight sacrifice, right? Because black takes it. It's very difficult to find it. But I think it's not created, in my opinion. But obviously we will not have any facts. But speaking of which, I was there, I could see it as we announced it in the beginning. This game actually happened.
Okay.
Other things we are not sure about.
If Georgi says it did happen, it did happen.
That's it.
This is what I thought about, that sometimes we see these unbelievable games, and sometimes they are too unbelievable. So let's say we see on average quite a good play. It's not a bad play, but the game been not really spectacular till the current moment. And then we have this Rook 81. I mean, extremely difficult move to find, Rook 81, yeah? It's really difficult because you might lose the game by playing Rook 81 in case you miscalculate something. So very high level move, Rook 81, beautiful trap. Very, very nice, yeah. Very, very nice. That's why sometimes I had a feeling that, yeah, they look like not a very real game.
Artificially
A
created,
bit
yes.
strange, a bit strange. Yeah. I never been 100% sure if this games actually did happen, but it doesn't matter so much for us because it's just a beautiful game, and what an idea. The rook takes e7.
Rook e7, queen.
Queen
And with
takes
two
d7,
bishops checkmate in the
aggressive
center of the
checkmate,
board.
yeah.
So.
So very, very nice, yeah, very nice. Okay, let's go for the second game. The second game is between Bird and Murphy. So I guess these two guys are more well known, Georgi, because you've seen as well the next game. So please tell us more about these two players.
Okay, so these players actually have quite an interesting story. They are definitely stronger than the ones we have checked, Anderssen-Dufrense. And let's talk about each of them. Henry Bird was born in 1830, passed away in 1908, and he was his nationality was from England, and he has one of the opening called on his name.
Yeah,
first
Bird
move
opening.
f4.
Yeah.
Yes, first move f4 if any of you have tried it. And he also has another line, which is in Spanish, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and on bishop b5, knight d4. Actually, it is also called Bird's opening. He was one of the leading player at that time in 1850s, 60s, and even 70s, along with Steinitz, Blackburne, Anderssen, and so on. And one of the highlights of his career as well is that he actually has written a couple of books, including chess history and so on. In the latest 1900s, let's say in 1890s, he actually has created a couple of it. And he was quite famous with his dedication to chess. He was not one of those guys kind of which was playing for fun and didn't really care much. He was looking at it more like a science and so on, and always liked to play creative openings, aggressive style, etc., which is kind of understandable, right? F4 first move is a bit odd continuation, or against Spanish bishop b5 playing knight d4, he was always going for the win. This much we can say about Henry Bird. Talking about Morphy, Paul Morphy, he was American player. Actually, his profession he was kind of a lawyer, but not fully because he hasn't really gotten into his career and worked with it and so on. He was a chess prodigy and definitely one of the unofficial world champion. Was born in 1837 and passed away in 1884. He was considered, yes, indeed. He was considered one of the first modern chess geniuses and definitely dominated the world in 1950s. Actually, specifically was his peak of the career, indeed. And he traveled to Europe as an American, actually definitely crushed a lot of top players from there, like Anderssen, Hurwitz, Lowenthal, and others. And that's why he was considered unofficial world champions. He has many famous games, but the weirdest fact of all about him is that he retired from chess when he was 22 years old. And the reason was because chess was lacking professional interest and aspects, because he was not really interested.
He was just
yes, he was like, there is nothing for me.
Yeah.
Exactly. He had a lot of brilliances, attacking style, definitely. And he was part of Romantic era, very creative, and had surprisingly good positional understanding for that time as well. So This much we can say about Paul Morphy. Probably there are many other things, but it's good enough to have some data about this person.
In my opinion, Murphy, maybe we can put him at the same level like Fischer, Kasparov, or Carlsen, because he was so much ahead of his time. Back then, players been much older on average than the good players of today. So back then, in case you've been 40 years old, 50 years old, it was completely normal age. Right now, everybody retires with 40, 45. So Paul Morphy, indeed, being very young and already unbelievably strong. I think back then, basically, he had no competition, no, Georgi? So
Definitely.
being 20 years old, playing against players who had at least double of his age, so much more experience than him. Paul Morphy completely dominated chess. So of course he could not face the whole world because it was difficult to meet somewhere. But he was unbelievably strong for the age. So in my opinion, this is one of the chess legends that you could put on the same level as Fischer, Kasparov, or Carlsen, because we saw a complete domination. So it's not like you play a match and you win 6-4. Paul Morphy crushed everybody. So this is one of the biggest chess legends in the chess history, in my opinion. And beautiful games. In case you have time a bit, you can Google Paul Morphy. You're gonna find a lot of games by him. Very, very beautiful games, and you can see how strong he was back then. Much stronger than his opponents. So very impressive chess player, Paul Morphy. I think one of the greatest ever. All right, Georgi, so let's take a look at the actual game, because too much talk. So we have the move e4 been played, e5, knight of 3, d6. So Paul Morphy is choosing to play the Philidor. Actually, Philidor been as well one of the greatest chess players back then. d4 and f5. Wow, Georgi, what would you say in case you're white and somebody plays the move f5?
Well, I would be quite happy.
You would be happy if
'cause
somebody
it's,
plays you f5?
Yes, absolutely. I've actually played it a couple of times, even in online bullet games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good setup at all. It's much better to play, let's say, e4, e5, knight f3, f5 if you really want to go for this f5 setup, rather than this d6, d4 included in that. But before we go into the depth of it, I would like to mention in chat that, guys, don't forget to give a like to the stream and subscribe the channel. Or if you have any kind of questions, feel free to write it down there. We'll be happy to respond. Just it helps the algorithm to get boosted a little bit more, so more people are tuning in. So if you are interested into this kind of stories, let's say historical aspects, analyzing the games, etc., it's important to get your support for that. Just hit the like button, subscribe the channel. Any questions, just leave us the comment in the comment section. And yes, this d4 f5, yeah, I'm always excited to see the opening theory at the time. Like, you know, I don't feel like these variations are dead nowadays in fast time controls, especially.
Depends.
I see them.
Georgi. Depends always on the level. So now a real story. So I played now at the European Championship, and my teammate. So he played, I think, board 4. So in this position, he thought for 10 minutes, and he is 2-5 himself, and he's playing against 2-4 player. So 2400 plays with white international master. So our guy, he thinks for 10 minutes, he plays d5, and he crushes the guy so easily with black. Extremely easy.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
easily, very easy win for black. That's why I think it always depends on the level. When you're trying to compare yourself with people from the top 10 in the world, I think it's just a wrong comparison, because they're too strong, they're too good, they know so much. We should not compare ourselves to them. So on at a lower level than absolute top, the opening I think doesn't play such a big role actually. You can try a lot of things. You can try even a lot of things which might be not the best according to the computer, but it doesn't matter because you are not facing a computer. So with black here to play d5 is an absolute normal choice. So it's not like super bad move. In case you turn on the computers and you see, yeah, this move is bad because computer says it's bad. But try to analyze without computer and you're going to see it's not easy. So when you want to play something, just turn the board and check it from other side. It's like you never seen the move d5, for example. Now computer says it's +1. All right, we know that. But if you turn the board and you say, what I would do here actually over the board with white, because I don't know this move, so probably as well my opponent doesn't know the move. I think it can be tried, except on the very professional level. But, well, how many people in the world do play professional chess? 500 million just enjoys the game of chess. Professional chess is maybe for 500. So I don't see a big deal in trying many strange openings, and even if computer says it's +1, so what? I think it deserves attention, so I don't see a problem in trying things like f5.
Just not, I guess, on regular basis.
On regular is
the
not so
main
good with the
downside
computer,
of
of course, yeah,
yes.
of course, Georgi. On regular
Yes.
base, no, but just sometimes it's not a big deal. All right, let's go back to the game. f5, knight c3. So what is the best move here, Georgi, according to the theory? Because actually I've never seen this move in my life, so...
Actually, knight c3 is the one,
Knight
which
c3
is the best in this.
Not
Yes.
bad. So Bird is answering with the best move possible. Strong. Take, and the move d5. Yes, this is looking very bad already for black, I think. Because, wow, this can...
He actually knew exactly, as a white player, Bird, exactly how to respond.
Wow.
But here, one of the key moves is knight e5, which doesn't end up so good position for black, though.
So knight e5 is the crusher, yeah? D takes e4. Do we give a check or bishop c4?
Bishop c4.
Bishop c4, yeah. And
Yes.
that's it, yeah. Because too
Yes,
many weaknesses. Yeah, it's not looking too good. Is it possible to find something like knight e5, bishop c4 over the board? Yes, it's possible. So let's say if you would play it against a GM, I think he's gonna find knight e5 because, for example, me, I never seen this position in my life. I'm playing chess all my life, but yeah, somehow I never paid attention to moves like f5 because just it never happened. And in case I think here for 20 minutes, I think I can find knight takes e5, bishop c4. So I think too dangerous to play it on a high level, but otherwise, yeah, it's possible. The question is, knight g3, is it good for black? The move in the game.
No, actually not as good, but black
Still
is doing
good.
more.
Yeah.
It's playable actually,
Yeah, it looks
and
as
black
well
is
better
not
for white.
really
Yeah.
getting that nice position either on that. But knight e5 is, the last dot that's okay, kind of finished.
Yeah.
You play it and you're good to go. This is one of those occasions.
Okay, so knight f6, then we have the move bishop on g5. A bit strange because I would try to push f3 as fast as possible. So this is what I would try here with white because I have to do something with d4, e4, d5 pawn. F3 gets the bishop out somewhere, and let's see what happens after. So we have bishop g5 move. Not sure the use case. Bishop d6, logical. Knight h5. So this is too risky, no, Georgi? It's like...
Yes,
I don't
it
like
is
it,
risky indeed. Still, white still is doing fine, if I'm not mistaken, on knight h5 as well, but already going into wrong direction.
Yes, this looks like a wrong direction to play here. The move knight h5. Short castle. All right. Black is playing very well. Of course, short castle. Queen d2, so white wants to do long castle. Okay, queen e8, getting out of the pin. Makes sense. g4, wow, what is g4?
Yeah, that was a big surprise, actually, for me to see. I didn't quite understand it, but whatever is coming next is the most creative way to play. Opening part or this part not as essential.
Okay, so black wins a pawn. I think he just missed the pawn with white. Knight c6. Black is just developing, and queen h3. So black is playing extremely well. Very, very nice play by black. Bishop e3. So now
And
white starts to defend.
we are getting there.
Rook b8 as
Rook
well.
b8.
Looks very nice because b2 pawn is hanging. Long castle, and here comes the first impressive move of the game. Rook takes f2, very beautiful, yeah. No, but Murphy, he been so strong, no, back then. Such a strong player.
And I'll tell you what is the funny thing. Let's say if we go back just one move, Rook f2, so long castle here.
Yeah.
There, black has a very solid approach. Black is up a pawn for now, because this g4 was a bit weird setup. And black has the opportunity to play bishop g4, trade off the light squared bishops, cement the rook on f3 later, and just win the game on the king side. I don't think with any special drama going on later. Instead, Morphy decides to go for a rook sacrifice, and after bishop f2, something even crazier is coming later. And the funny thing is that at the end of some series of sequence of moves, the position ends up with perpetual check. There is nothing better than that. But it's not so simple to find the defensive resource from white's perspective. White didn't find it and collapsed in the game. So the question is, usually when you see such kind of moves and you end up checking, that position gets quite complex, where you cannot just calculate it till the end. What do you think is the best decision? Is it better to play just bishop g4 and continue the game, or you really want to end up on YouTube and take on f2?
No, but I think it depends, Georgi. If somebody is a professional chess player, or again, hobby chess player, so it makes a big difference here.
Wait, excuse me, I need to clarify something. We are talking about a person well over 2,700 saying what?
What, Gary? I don't understand.
Yes, like let's not forget about the fact that you had 2,700 plus
it's not about that. It's like
for
the approach,
a while.
I think,
so
Georgi, I think it's about the approach. So let's say now I don't care about my chess so much regarding professional playing chess, because I've been playing before. Now I'm just an old man, so I play a little bit, I enjoy the game. But in case you have an approach that you try to make as many points as you can, you have completely different strategy. So it's completely different approach. You don't play for fun. You don't play to enjoy the game. You play to win. So in case you play to win, then of course you play a move like bishop g4, because you don't risk. You limit the risk. You see, you don't play such a strong opponent, so most probably you're gonna outplay him. Position is better, so the chance that you outplay him is very, very high. Then you don't think even about rook takes f2, because you don't need it. You win the game by playing calm. But in case you play to enjoy chess as much as you can, then maybe rook f2 is just funny. So you play to have fun, you play to enjoy. Then the move, in my opinion, like rook f2 is making sense. And back then they played much more for fun. They did not play for money. Now so many tournaments online, big prizes, people fighting for the money. Everybody is professional, working hard, having seconds, big cost, etc. But back then, completely different story, no? People been playing to play a beautiful game, to enjoy it. It was not so professional. So, in my opinion, very different approach.
I see. I understand your point of view.
Yeah. That's why I think it's not fair again to compare professional chess player with chess players that just plays for fun. Very different approach, yeah. So let's say if you take a professional chess player, it doesn't matter how you win, you just want to win. But in case you would take a club level player that plays for fun, do you think club player wants to play for 120 moves a slightly better endgame?
No, definitely
Or
not.
even,
That would be weird.
no, but or even a worse scenario where you have to defend a slightly worse endgame for 5 hours. Yeah, okay. This is horrible. Yes, this is just a suffer for 5 hours and what you get from it. So this is not what is happening. I think it depends really who you are. So rook takes f2. Anyway, very, very beautiful move, sacrificing the rook. And then we have this unbelievable move, queen a3. I mean, fantastic idea, very creative, very, very beautiful.
Like rook f2 to play queen a3. Like,
Yeah, spectacular.
who sees this kind of stuff, like,
very,
to maneuver
very nice.
it?
Very, very beautiful, yeah. So
And here starts the sequence of the moves.
c3, c3. So we have in the chat, yeah, to win makes the most fun. I completely agree with that, but
When I'm playing this.
yeah, everybody likes to win, but still, would you like to suffer for 5 hours to hold the draw? Not sure about that, because it makes no fun, and sometimes very difficult to motivate yourself to fight in a worse position. All right, we have c3. Of course, there is nothing else, so queen cannot be taken because of obvious bishop a3 mate. Nice. So c3, queen takes a2, the threat is queen a1, followed by rook takes b2, and b4. Is there something better than b4? Probably not, no, Georgi, because as well, because bishop a3 is coming. So
Yes, I remember analyzing this one, and there was nothing better. So basically, the problem is that, okay, the mate is threatened is queen a1, rook b2, and if the queen moves, there is this bishop f2, yes, and rook b2 as well. And it doesn't matter at this point. It does win both.
This looks
So that was the biggest problem for white, and b4 is the one. And now, surprisingly, there is no way to win the game.
Wow, that's surprising.
So, which is a bit weird. Let's say,
Check is
okay,
forced.
white threatens the trade of the queens, check is forced, king c2, and queen a4 is also kind of
Forced,
mandatory to play.
Except we want
Because
to
if
make
queen
a draw,
a2 is
yeah.
just repetition, yes, sure.
If queen a4
Going
is
there,
forced.
and king b2 was a terrible move. Like, if white goes for king c1, there's apparently no good way, because white is capable of playing this queen c2 ideas later, and no good follow-up. If, let's say, we try to sacrifice on b4 or something like that, not enough time. Actually, white could get away with it. Yes. It was the
queen
capture,
c2.
if I'm not mistaken. Let me see there on bishop b4. No, it
Probably
was...
take. Because queen c2.
Yes, take, because of queen c2, bishop a3 it was. Okay.
So
queen c2, bishop a3, rook b2 will do the job.
Okay.
Even so, takes it, rook b4.
Okay,
try
black
to recall
still can
now.
make a draw in case black wants, but yeah,
Yes.
rook takes b4 is the only way to play
What
for
was
a
the
win.
move? I'm thinking now.
Queen
Was it
c3
queen
probably,
c3? Yes, I think that was queen
And queen
c3.
a2 not working because you take the rook. So
Yes.
rook to b3 looks like the only option. And maybe just go back, but okay, this is not so obvious. Maybe it's okay for white, but no, but Georgi, I think even position in case you take, it's not so easy. But I don't know. It doesn't.
But
look
there was
like...
some special sequence of
No,
the
but queen
moves
c5
that.
maybe just because how to mate. You must go queen a2 because otherwise I will just escape. So queen a2 is sort of forced, and now we have this mate. All right, so we can go back to c2. Queen a3 is forced, I guess. And here we have again the draw, because in case you win the queen, I think this is just better for white, but the draw is there, yeah. So where is the win?
There was a way to... Yeah, the winning this position was not possible. But I kind of recall that even after this sacrifice, that black could not do anything. It was just kind of a repetition.
No, but this is possible that this is a draw. Yeah, no, but I think
Yes.
I think Georgi, that even if I just take here, it's by far not easy, yeah. Because how do you win that? I have two rooks and I have a bishop, so yes, you have a lot of pawns, but I'm not sure that this is winning. And of course, I don't need to take immediately, yeah, so I will find a better spot to give the queen for the rook. So yes.
Yes, I remembered, Arkady.
Yeah.
I remembered what was the move. So bishop b4, rook b4,
Okay.
queen g5.
Queen g5. Wow.
Yes.
And there is nothing, yeah. Okay. So if there is nothing, there is nothing. So this is just a draw because, yes, well, you want to give me many checks, yeah. So, yes. Okay.
That was
Nice
that was
move,
the solution.
nice move, but okay, hard to find. Very hard to find. In the game, let's see. We have the move king to b2. So now takes with a check, rook b4. Yeah, white, of course, should have avoided that. Obviously, king c1 would have been much better. Queen takes and king on c2. So we have queen versus two rooks and a bishop. A lot of pawns plus open king. Still, black has to play, I think, very dynamically. In case white manages to keep the position somehow, okay, not easy to keep it, but to block, let's say, bishop e3, maybe get the rook out. It's not going to be simple. The next move as well, very dynamic, yeah. e3. Nice move, no, Georgi? Nice play.
Yes,
very
indeed.
nice play by black.
That was very
takes.
critical.
It forced, check, rook to d3. Bishop d3, there is queen c4, I guess. So the bishop on d3 is falling. So rook to d3, queen c4 check, king on d2, queen a2 check, king on d1, queen b1 check, a nice play. And that's it.
Takes the rook and finished.
And that's it, yeah, because bishop c1, we're gonna take the rook. In case king goes somewhere, we're gonna take the rook on h1. The game is done. Yeah, a nice game, but of course we can see that Morphy is just on a different level chess-wise. Yeah, completely different level.
Imagine rook takes f2 and queen a3. Like,
yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
Like it's so rare technique also to use it. Like,
very beautiful play. Yeah. And then queen a3. So nice win. Yeah, very beautiful win by Morphy. Yeah, great game. Okay, let's check the next game of Steinitz. Steinitz, I think one of the most famous chess players, actually, no? Georgi,
definitely.
I would say.
Definitely.
And his opponent, Mongredien, or I don't know exactly how to read the name correctly.
This English gentleman.
Yes. So, Georgi, introduce us, please, the two players.
Yes.
Wilhelm Steinitz. What do you know about
I have
him?
data here in front of me, and let's check it out. Well, I guess the most important thing to say about him is him being the first official world chess champion. In 1888, he managed to beat Zukertort, which we are going to check it on the next game, actually. And he maintained it for quite some time.
Georgi, maybe start from the very beginning. So which year he's born, which nationality he has?
Yes, I will start. So actually, he was born in 1836 and passed away on 1900. And he is considered as the father of modern chess because he was the first one which implemented kind of that, you know what, I'm going to take these pawns there, defend them, and not care about the rest. He was from Prague, Austrian Empire, but at the time it was Austrian Empire, but now it's Czech Republic. And he passed away in USA. He was the first official world chess champion. And some of the important facts about him is that, as we mentioned, in 1886, actually, he defeated Johannes Zukertort, and he was very scientific and positional player, kind of. He was like, he didn't want to go for all these crazy attacks, was preferred to keep the position more or less normal, just not many hectic sacrifices, etc. He actually was all the modern strategic principles, almost, whatever we had it, like center, strong center, pawn structure, advantages, prophylaxis, etc. It came from Steinitz theories. He was the main founder of this kind of theories. His peak streak was pretty much unbeaten for the last 25 years, from 1862 to 1887.
He haven't lost a game.
Longer. actually his unbeaten streak was 25 years, which is unbelievable.
25
Longer
years
than
without
any
a loss.
world champions before or after.
Okay, before
Well,
is difficult
obviously
when he's
he
the
is.
first.
Yes, indeed. But clearly, it's not like 25. Okay, he wasn't playing anywhere as much of games as, let's say, nowadays people are doing it, but still, it's very impressive, though.
Sure.
Later, he moved to USA and actually suffered financial and mental difficulties later in life. And in his final years, Steinitz believed he could control electricity with his mind, and even challenge God to a chess game with the telephone.
This is
Yes.
this is yeah.
Yes.
This is a danger.
So,
It's like we like to say when you play soccer, usually your leg breaks. When you play chess, sometimes your head might break.
yeah,
a
it is
sad
quite
story.
common,
A
actually.
sad story for the first world champion to end up like that, but yeah, a legend.
Yes,
To be the very first is always very special. All right.
definitely. And
His
and
opponent.
another player, his opponent, Anderssen-Mongredien, was born in 1807, passed away in 1888.
So much older,
He was a
much
good-
older than Steinitz, yeah. Much older.
Yes,
30
indeed.
years older. Mhm.
And he was quite a good theoretician, economist, author, and chess player as well. And he was one of the most famous chess organizer, was creating some tournaments, etc., chess promoter, and he was the president of the London Chess Club. That's one of the main highlights, and was playing more or less solid chess, less flashy, without many counterplays. So that's all that much we can say about Mongredien.
Okay, basically back then just the nobles been playing chess, yeah. Like Philidor was always at the house of the king. The same with Steinitz, the same with most of these people. So chess been played by the nobles back then, yeah. It was completely different times. There've been no little chess tournaments, let's say like that, yeah. Okay, so we have the move e4 been played, d5, the Scandinavian defense from 200 years ago. Nice. E takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3 is still the best according to the theory. Queen to d8 as well. Some people do play queen d8. The main move is queen a5 currently, but as well this is leading to slightly better positions for white. So we have the move queen d8, d4 still the best, and e6 currently we see more the move knight f6 first, but e6 I don't know, Georgi, I don't like the move e6 so much because it closes the bishop on c8, so I would not choose to play e6 straight away.
Same here.
Yeah, e6 is not looking like the best, but okay, knight f3, good move, knight f6, and bishop d3 as well. Nice setup for white. I mean, excellent play by Steinitz. Bishop e7. In case I would be black here, I would try to maybe somehow manage to get c5, because I know if I don't get the move c5, it will be clearly worse with the bishop on c8, no place to go. So I played queen d5, queen d8 back as well. I lost the tempo, so I should push something. Bishop e7, a bit too passive, in my opinion. Short castle, bishop e3, played probably against the move c5. Now b6 and knight e5. So, Georgi, what do you think? I think just excellent play by Steinitz. No, I mean, when you look at that, perfect play for white.
Absolute masterpiece, actually, and quite an interesting stuff is coming up as well.
Of course.
And speaking of the opening theoretical aspect, it reminds me of a French variation with, let's say, knight d2, e4, e6, d4, d5, knight d2, d takes c4, knight e4, and when black kind of tries like bishop d7, bishop c6, this kind of vibes it gives me. Just a lot of tempi down. Let's say takes, bishop goes on d7, let's say knight f3, bishop c6, bishop d3, knight f6, and usually knight d7 first, actually, yes, knight d7, castle, knight f6, and knight going back on c3. So kind of a similar version.
Looks better.
And yes, so this is what I have been playing actually, going on that, and then queen e2, 95 ideas. Sorry, rook e1, 95 ideas. And I feel like it's the same, just black didn't get the bishop on c6. They have it on c8 with wasted a lot of tempi actually as well. So c5 isn't going there, and position just looks much worse for black. No doubt.
Yes, it should be worse. So we have knight e5, bishop b7, and f4. Interesting push. Usually the move f4 is not the best, so a risky decision to play f4. Structurally, f4 is only good in case you can go f5 next. So before playing f4, you must be sure that there is a 5 next. Otherwise, f4 is not the best. We have knight bd7 played, which is normal. But before playing f4, I would strongly consider playing queen e2 first and rook 81, yeah, because it's just so useful to have the queen on e2 and rook on d1. And then maybe the move f4, because somehow f4, I'm not so convinced in the move f4. Georgi, do you like the move f4?
Well, not as much. I would think that black probably needs to go for c5 sooner or later to open up the center. But actually, I don't know. On the other hand, even if c5, d takes c5, queen e2, I feel like since black has wasted a lot of tempi in development, move the queen back and forth and so on, white might be okay to get away with this kind of moves as well. So that's the only reason.
It's not worse, but the point is that f4 is only good when you have something direct. In case something direct is not working, so it's not worse playing the move f4, because just let's make some simple moves like queen e2, knight bd7, for example. You go rook 81, so now to take on e5 becomes very dangerous for black. c5 as well is very dangerous because the rook is on d1, so we're gonna take at some moment on c5, which is gonna be difficult for black. And the question is what else black can do in case c5 is not working, knight takes e5 is not working, so black has to go like queen c8, like an example. And now we can think about playing the move f4, because we're gonna push f5 next. So we're gonna play straight at the black king. It's important to play f4 in a good moment. So I think if we win a tempo already, maybe it's a good moment, but only maybe, because there are so many good moves for white. White is obviously doing better. So this would be, for example, a moment when you think about playing f4. We want to go f5, all right, c5 is possible. So still, things are far from easy. And as well, at the move f4, there's always g6. So after g6, we must think what we're gonna do now, because this structure d4, f4 is not the best. Bishop on e3, not the best after the move f4. So usually at g6, or we go like g4 and we push, which is very dangerous. The king on g1, very open. So we sometimes can play the move f5. So this idea of f4, g6, f5 is quite often playable for white. In case of e takes f5, now usually we want to sacrifice, so or bishop f5, or maybe we're gonna play like bishop h6 first, attack the rook, and then we're gonna sacrifice something on f5 because the king is alone on g8. But even this is again quite unclear, so it has to be calculated. It's not like a free roll that white is winning for sure. So we must be very careful with moves like f4 usually. In the game we see the move f4. It's not a bad move again, but just be careful with playing f4 because you might give away your advantage. Knight bd7, normal. Queen e2, normal. Knight d5. Alright, I'm not sure knight to d5 is a good approach because the knight on c3 not doing much, and black is removing the defender from the king. So knight d5 looks to me to be dangerous. Georgi, your opinion about the knight to d5 move?
That was the move which caused the whole game, in my opinion. Playing knight d5. And yes, like it is really mandatory to focus towards c5 ideas here as soon as possible. Because longer you take to move this kind of pieces on d5, making some trades, faster it's going to be the attack on the king side. Especially f6 knight is the last line of defense, in my opinion, for black, and they just intentionally move it to trade it off into the knight on c3, definitely not a good idea in this situation at all. So I think that was the grave mistake at this point, going for knight d5.
Yes, it looks like knight d5 is a bit early. Knight takes d5, so white is changing a bad knight versus a good knight of black, and we have e takes d5, so usually the idea is bishop takes d5. After ed, you close your own bishop from b7, so your position is very bad already. Strange to play knight to d5 ed. It makes just not much sense, except black is in time to get like knight f6, knight e4, but 2 moves to go in chess usually is too much. In case you have 1 move to go, sometimes you are in time, but with 2 moves to achieve your goal, very difficult, very, very difficult. So white starts immediately with rook f3. Excellent play by white, in my opinion. So rook h3 is coming next. Black king has no defenders. Black king is in danger. So if we count just attackers and defenders, which is always very important, after the move rook h3 is going to be bishop in the attack, knight in the attack, queen in the attack, and rook in the attack. So we have 4 pieces attacking the black king. And eventually, for example, in case black plays like knight f6, so let's say bishop rook h3. So we have 4 pieces in the attack for white, and we have just 1 defender. It's not enough. It's just not enough. So the chance of getting mated is very, very high.
And black is making the move like knight d5, so we should never end up in this situations, actually. I think f5 is quite practical try for black right now, considering the fact that rook h3 and everything is coming. Probably, but it was not enough time, actually, because white has accumulated quite deadly threats on the king side, as we will see in near future.
Rook h3, g6. Okay, g6 is probably a defense from the queen h5. g6. And here comes, I think, the decisive move of the game. Very, very nice, because, of course, white might try to play slowly, like, let's bring the rook to f1, or let's play king h1 with the idea of rook to g1 to push then the move g4. By the way, we can see again how bad it was to play knight to d5, yeah, because the bishop is just like a pawn, so it's blocked. But there's an advice, usually, in case, again, you see that you are having an overwhelming position, so don't wait for too long. So in case you feel it's not so certain, then first bring your pieces into the game and then do something. But in case you feel that you have overwhelming position, so we have an overwhelming position at the moment. Obviously, bad bishop on b7, bad rook on a8 is completely out of the game. So king is relatively open. The rook on h3 is getting ready to mate the black king. So all this makes a position just by feeling to be extremely good for white. And in case you have this feeling that you're doing very well, then you can try the move in the game, and excellent move, g4. So very, very nice approach by white, not losing time. So he's playing this dynamic chess. Many of you probably are big fans of chess of, for example, Shirov, or we have great attackers like Caruana, let's say, when he's attacking. So dynamic chess. Sorry?
Tal. Mikhail Tal, probably the most
some sacrifice,
famous figure from a lot of people, actually. Kasparov and so on, basically.
Of course. So don't lose time in case you feel you have an overwhelming advantage. Otherwise, it's better to be a little bit more careful before pushing. Because let's make another example. Let's say this rook from black would be now on g7. Would you play the move g4? Personally, I would not, because I would think, well, it's a bit premature, because who knows what is going to happen. The rook on g7 is defending the king, so g4, I don't know, I'm opening the position. Maybe first I would think, all right, I have a little bit of time, so let me bring the rook on f1 first, or let me play king h1, rook g1, let me prepare. So you need to feel a little bit the moment, but usually the rule goes, if your position is too good, then you can allow yourself something like g4. But in case you feel it's not so clear, don't play moves like g4, because usually it's just a bad move. Your own king is going to be too weak. Okay, so we have g4 being played, f takes g4. Is there something better? I don't think so. No, okay. Looks like...
No, definitely not, actually. Better. Because also another good part for white's possibility of playing this g4 is that whenever we go on the flank attack, we expect our opponent to strike in the center, let's say, if something happening. And black definitely doesn't have enough time or firepower to create any dynamics over there. So
Yes.
g4 is... So let's say the previous move when white played f4, let's say pawn pushes in front of the king, was a dubious decision. Maybe either it works, it might not actually. Because black still had a chance to strike in the center there, and it's not so clear. But a bit later, when g4 happened, that's already a different story, because white has all the pieces into the attack, while black doesn't have right away a special count plays, and this pawn chain from h7 to f5 is going to get demolished very soon. So g4 makes perfect sense, and a really, really great spirit. Steinitz definitely played an amazing combination coming on as well. But here I have the key question. After f takes g4, we see what white has tried. Probably a lot of people will be quite excited to see that, and went for rook sacrifice. Rook takes h7.
Yes.
The question is, would you choose this kind of move or play like queen g4 and continue from there? I think I know your answer. I will respond it. Depends how you look at chess. If you look at professionally, you need to take queen g4 there, right? Or it's a different occasion.
It's a mate, Georgi. In case you see a mate, you just...
I'll tell you a funny thing. Rook h7 is a blunder.
Rook h7 is a blunder. Okay, then... If you
Yes.
see it's a blunder, you don't
That's
do it.
the thing. That's the thing. But it was not so clear-cut in the beginning that actually it was unnecessary move. So as in the previous game when Morphy sacrificed this rook f2 and queen a3 was not really the best shot, actually. So it was easier for white to go for queen g4 and just keep the threats available on g6 pawn, and there is almost nothing black can try to defend the position properly.
Okay,
But he went for rook h7. Yes,
Is it
this
so
we will
easy,
take it
Georgi?
back.
If I take, you take, and I go bishop
Yes.
c8, there is e6, yeah? Like,
Yeah, we push it, yes. That was the problem.
And no defense against bishop takes
Many,
e6
many threats
or...
already there.
Okay, I don't know. So easy, rook f6? Can you take?
I think there was...
No,
I'll
they
try to
actually-
recall the lines there, but I believe it was already the sacrifice, yes.
Maybe you take
Rook h7
I
now.
think it's not that obvious, no? Because, okay, I mean, look from the practical point of view. If you are not sure to go for that or not to go for that, so you might sacrifice, because just the evaluation of the position is not so obvious, in my opinion. Because
This
king
might be
g8,
quite straightforward.
Bishop
take.
g6, now the mate is
Yeah,
coming,
that's
and
a big
in case
one.
I take
Yeah,
a
this
mate
will
with
lead to
h6.
mate, yes.
Okay,
That's
so
the thing. I think
there's
that was the
mate.
main sequence
So
of the
no defense, yeah? And black can
of
do
the
nothing.
line, yes.
All right.
But rook h7 looks tempting, no doubt, in the beginning, let's say, instead of just taking it, but
and
I'm
if I
not
take
sure,
here, Georgi?
like, why. What was the line? I can't recall exactly. We need to find it ourselves.
I'm trying, but I don't see. Because in case you go queen h4, there is rook f1, so how can you defend
Yeah,
the
that
rook?
doesn't work, yeah?
I think no. I don't know.
Because I do remember that it was much, much better version than...
No,
Okay, not e6 then.
but
Let's say
you
f
must-
takes goes
you
there.
have to. I don't know, Georgi. I don't think there's something else except e6. The rook is hanging, no? So you go like e6. I
Then
go
after
f6.
rook f6, perhaps.
But in case you let me
Something,
take, I will say thank you.
What else? Are there no possibilities we can try?
No, but there are many, but it's by far from easy, no? I mean, of course you can go like bishop g5 or something. I don't know, was the idea queen h4 next, but rook takes e6, for example, and like queen h4. But super tricky positions, no idea. Maybe you're winning with white, but...
Maybe we might need to take it with another pawn, perhaps.
yeah, but... I think...
Does it make any special difference?
No idea. Also, I have somewhere that move bishop c5 to change, but at the moment it's not working, so I go bishop c8, yeah.
Bishop c8, I think I need to push.
You need to push and rook f6. So now queen h4. So this might be winning, yeah.
Yeah, there will be some other ideas as well. Yeah, I think it was the d pawn.
Yeah, maybe.
Which needs to capture it.
Not easy, Georgi, to
because if we take it with the f pawn, that's true actually. The f pawn, it feels like there is something concrete. But this one, it's like you're not risking to give up the rook, and the game goes on. Just rook h7 is a threat already.
It's not easy. Let's say I play rook f7. There is no obvious mate.
Then we can push the f pawn as well. No, it still
F4.
looks like
f5. You mean? Can I do like d4? Now we have this problem because of the king on g1. No, but maybe you are winning with white. I don't say that you're not, but I just say that it's not that obvious. Yeah. So calculation is
possible,
needed.
Yeah.
It's a fight. Yes, probably white is doing well, but it's like not 100%. So in this position, in case let's say you have two choices between rook h7 and you have queen g4, so you say queen g4 looks more easy, but is it actually so easy? And then you discover maybe it's not. So you take on h7, then you calculate, oh great, rook takes h7, very spectacular move, of course. Knight e5 is sort of forced because probably there is nothing else, no?
Yeah, it should be played.
It should be played. You take with a pawn, a rook has to be taken, and queen g4. So we have two options, queen g4 and the option of bishop takes g6. Bishop g6 option looks not so good because there is bishop g5, I guess, yeah. So it means that we have to take on g4, and the question is, all right, how can black defend the pawn on g6 and queen h5 simultaneously? Is there a defense? In case yes, white is losing. In case no, probably white is giving a mate.
There was this sequence of queen e8.
So queen e8 is,
instead of rook g8,
yeah?
yes, and then let's say queen h5, king g7, check. The check was yes, king g8, and bishop g6, rook f7. If I'm not mistaken, it was some kind of weird sequence like that.
Is it not winning for white?
That was the surprising fact that I remember at some point it was saying zeros, and I was very impressed to
how can this be
hear that. Let's say, I don't know what exactly next.
I just made you.
I might be messing up the line somewhere.
It doesn't look like a zero.
Let me think. Yeah,
like,
that looks bad.
It looks like a zero for black.
Okay. I think I got this.
Okay.
I got this. On bishop h6, king h8.
On bishop h6, you have the move king h8. Yeah, this makes sense
king
because
h8.
I cannot take on g6. Yeah.
Yes, because there was some sequence I can't recall there.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
This is nice, yeah.
That was something like that, basically.
And in case I give queen h6 check, you go king g8. I
g8, and then bishop g6, rook f7.
And this is not a mate.
King h1, I guess you need to go.
Yes.
Bishop f8 it was, and it was like continuing, basically, from there.
But okay, still very unclear position. Very unclear.
Clearly there. So it's just the other line which I looked at, let's say taking on g4.
Wow.
What I thought about is like, you
Very
don't pretty much risk anything, you know, if you don't give up the rook on h7.
Yeah.
And you get like everything kind of for free. You know, like the maximum threats like this d4 will lead to this f5, e6. I don't think it's the same amount of calculation required for both setups, and I think it is easier to play. But okay, it's not that simple, like spotting this king h8, bishop f8, bishop g7 ideas as well. This still needs to be double checked. I have checked this game long ago, and I remember that black was doing fine, but still. There was some sequence, it was saying slightly better for white, and I was shocked because I remembered that white was winning there.
Okay, quite an interesting position indeed. And once again, we're checking chess without an engine because with engine it's boring. So for those of you who like to know the exact evaluation, you can always double check with an engine, but I find it very boring to do chess with engine personally, so I don't do it. Of course, professionally I do in case I need it, but just to analyze. It's so nice. Then you have your own ideas, your own thoughts. To turn on the engine, and within a second, the outcome. I think it's just boring. We don't learn from that. Not interesting. So we'd like to check chess without an engine. It makes fun. Not very effective, I agree, but it makes fun. So we are here to have some fun. So rook g8 looks like a mistake, yeah, Georgi? This looks like
that was the decisive one.
Yeah,
that was the decisive one.
Check and check. All is very forced because king to e6 looks like a must. In case of rook g7, we have like rook f1. So king e6, check on h3, very nice. We don't let the black king run away. Now check and queen e6. Yeah, it's very, very nice. Yeah. Good play by white. Rook is hanging, there is bishop takes g6 coming next. Beautiful win. Rook g7, probably there's again nothing better, and bishop g5, so he does not even take on g6. First bishop g5. Okay, white has a lot of different options to win the game, but bishop g5, yeah, why not, to bring an extra piece in the attack. Bishop takes g6 coming next. That's it.
And black is done here.
Yes, take, and the beautiful last move, rook f8 check. The pin is there. Rook cannot be taken. That's it. Queen takes e8, yeah. Alright, beautiful game, no? Beautiful game by Steinitz. Which year exactly this game been played?
I need to check it out. 1 minute.
Just interesting.
Let me pull it off.
How many years ago?
The file... 1862.
1862, yeah. Huge, yeah. It's like more than 160 years. 160 years. Unbelievable, yeah. Chess players already of this high level 160 years ago. No engine, no books, nobody to learn from, and still playing so well, yeah. Incredible. All right, let's go for the next one, and it is the last game for today that we wanted to present to you. It is a game between Zukertort, which means in German a sugar pie, and we have Blackburne playing with the black pieces, and actually Zukertort manages to win. Wow, because Blackburne been very strong back then. So, Georgi, please introduce us the two players. Let's start with Zukertort.
Yes, that's good to know, actually. I didn't know the meaning of it. In Georgian language, we call it a cake, like a pie, a torti, specifically. So I just understood it. Okay, all right. It didn't sound Georgian at all, and now I understand the origin, actually. Not only Georgian, though, in I believe in many other languages as well, they're called. Okay.
Strange comparison to the Georgian language, because the guy is obviously German. Georgi Zucker is
no.
German sugar.
I meant I'm not saying that. I'm saying tort, meaning that it is a pie. Actually, I understood in Georgian we're using that. That's all. Not because of he looks Georgian or anything. I just meant the word meaning.
In German,
first time I heard. Torte. Okay, I see. Okay. All right. So Zukertort was born in 1842, passed away in 1888, relatively early, actually.
42 years old only, yeah? Very young.
Yes, like really early. He was born in Lublin, which at that time was actually a part of Poland, and then neutralized by British. And he was basically one of the finalists of World Championship match in 1886 against Steinitz, and he lost that match, and that's the reason why he could not get the first World Champion title crown. Just my cat is attacking me at the same time. Just a moment, let me handle it. Sakura, can you let me continue if you don't mind? Okay. All right, for the viewers, they can see her as well. He was a very talented player, one of the followers of the Romantic chess era, like dynamic chess and imaginative, etc. He was one of the first person which tend to like to play a first move d4 or knight f3, b3 setups and so on. So he had quite an interesting journey, and had a brilliant memory. He could play blindfold simultaneous exhibition on 10 to 12 boards.
Very
He
nice.
claimed that he spoke on 9 languages and multiple musical instruments.
Okay.
So, yes, he had a lot of
Well-educated.
talents, let's say, definitely well educated. And his death was at the age of 45, because he was, I just checked it out, it was at 88, he passed away after a stroke during a simultaneous exhibition at Simpsons in the Strand, basically, during the game. The newspapers described that he fell from his chair mid-game and never recovered.
Wow.
Yes, that's about the Zukertort and about Henry Blackburne. He was born in 41. Actually, the difference was just 1 year between them, and passed away in 1924. His nickname was the Black Death
Wow.
because of his skills. That's an interesting nickname to have, though. He was English. Go on.
No, just
say something?
Yeah, I wanted
Yes.
to ask actually where he learned to play chess. Blackburne, yeah.
Actually, he was Britain's greatest player of his time, dominated English chess for nearly 4 decades. And he was the legend of beer and chess in combination. He famously drank whiskey or beer while playing chess, and once said that he had requested beer during a blindfold exhibition to clear his mind.
All right, a nice story.
He was a blindfold specialist as well and could play up to 13 boards at the same time.
Very impressive.
I don't have a data how he has learned, let's say, but he drew the match against Steinitz in 1870s, showing world-class strength, romantic attacker, and he really had colorful personality. Once knocked out an opponent who blew cigar smoke in his face. Played chess in cafes all over Europe, earning his living from exhibitions and wagers, and a crowd favorite for his humor and sportsmanship.
That's nice. Very, very nice. So
Yes.
actually, I think which year it was forbidden to smoke at the chessboard, Georgi?
I don't remember exactly, actually,
not
but
so
that
long
was an
ago.
interesting time.
It's not so long ago. I think it was in the 80s actually that they stopped to smoke during the chess game. So back then, there are very many famous stories. For example, Michael Tal was smoking like non-stop. So, or about the preparation of Botvinnik, how he prepared to play World Championships. So he asked a guy during a training camp to sit in front of him and just to smoke in his face non-stop to get used to that because he was not smoking, Botvinnik, and yeah, he needed to prepare. So crazy times. Just imagine right now we would be in a tournament hall where like 80% is smoking. So there is a fog, you can
Definitely.
hardly see the pieces. And back then it was completely normal because I still remember a lot of pictures from the chess Olympiads with cigars at the chessboard. So back
Apparently, I just checked it, that they had the strict, basically, they started to ban it into places in 91, 92 was the starting time.
So
It seems like.
a very long
And
time we could smoke at the chessboard. Yeah. Okay.
yes, that's how it was. And these are the main highlights, let's say, of his career, but knocked out someone because someone blew the cigar during the game is quite interesting. And
Yeah.
I didn't know about this fact up until I
Enough
saw
is
the
enough,
notes
yeah.
on that.
Okay.
Yes, it's an interesting
So
one.
we have c4, e6, e3. Oh, very careful player, e3. Okay, knight f6, knight f3, b6, bishop e2. So obviously Zukertort is playing so carefully. Bishop b7, short castle, d5, d4. So we are back to a normal position that would be actually very normal even nowadays. This opening is played quite often. Bishop d6, good move. Knight c3, short castle b3. So for the moment, everything is standard, but queen e7 is not the best. So in case black would continue here with a move a6, we would be back to the mainline theory. And actually it's very good for black to have the bishop on d6 and not on e7. So after a6, mainline, queen e7, not the best, because queen e7 gives opportunity for white, and Zukertort is using his chance. Knight b5, excellent move. White is getting the bishop on d6. Very good understanding of chess by Zukertort. Georgi, what do you want to add to that?
Definitely. He just really wants to go after the bishop on d6. On top of that, I would like to mention as well, here we have in chat, hello Iris, on this stream we will not be playing the games. Thank you for the requests. Perhaps some streams might be planned for that regards, and we can make it work. But connected to this, knight b5 and getting the bishop on d6, I remember playing this type of structures when my opponent has the pawn on a6, and also c pawn is exchanged into the e pawn, let's say after queen e7, something like a6, c takes d5, e takes d5, queen e7. And queen e7 ideas later, I started to wonder why I was playing chess. I could see absolutely zero plans. It was rare occasions, but what black was getting was zero IQ positions. He was moving the king on h8, knight e4, starting the attack on the king side, and I had no clue what to do there. Later, I realized that you should not take the pawn on d5. You should try to go this bishop d3, queen e2 ideas, and then try to strike with the e4 plans. But until I figured it out, it was a long story there happening. But if black allows this knight b5, knight d6 ideas, I think white is doing fine already after that and can definitely fight for the advantage. And this game is actually one of my favorite. I have used it many times, the positions which occurred from there, for middle game planning. How to choose the plans in the middle games, because there is one critical moment of the game, which we'll be reaching soon, which kind of determines how the thinking process should be in chess there. So, so far it's going well for white.
Knight e4 looks as well quite normal. Black, white takes on d6, so the position of white should be better. And an interesting moment to take with a queen, to take with a knight, to take with a pawn. Black takes with a pawn, I think, looks normal, no?
Yes.
It looks pretty normal, in my opinion, because in case we take with a piece on d6, white is going to continue with the move a4, bishop a3. So the bishop on a3 is going to be a very powerful piece, and I think this is just better. So it's just better for white. That's why we see the move c takes d6, rook is getting to c8, normal play. Knight d2, very interesting, but why knight to d2? Georgi, is this the best?
Yes, actually yes.
Wow.
Yes, and we will just check it out why there, because I've analyzed these games many times. I've had it in the practice, and I will mention the reason why soon.
Okay, so very interesting, because in my opinion, for example, usually in these positions, in case I would be white, so we have pair of knight looking to one square, so I would play something like knight to e1, because I want to go f3 next, and pair of knight, one square, so we should not change one pair of knight. This is the general...
It was a home preparation of Zukertort. He had it with the engine there, checked it out, so all good.
Not bad.
Home prep.
But this is strange. So for example, me, I would not play knight to d2. According to my understanding, I would go knight e1 because I go f3. So the knight on d7.
The rule of extra piece, right? Or how is it called? On that, I think it was Dvoretsky which pointed out that an extra piece rule, that if both of the pieces want to stay on the same square, that it's better to not trade it off and just kick it out, kind of.
No, but usually in this type of positions, once you get the move f3, white is doing better. So knight d3, perfect square. Rook c1, perfect square. Rook bishop a3, perfect square. So I would not even think for too long and just play knight e1, because knight to d2, by feeling, this is not what I should do with white, in my opinion, because I'm changing the knight, but do I want to change the knight? So to me, by far not obvious, Georgi. The move knight to d2 is not what I would play. So tricky decision. It's not a bad move. I mean, it's not a bad move by no means, but the question is why? Yeah, because knight d7 is really bad. So in case I change one pair of knights, and theoretically there is knight f6, and knight is at least decent. So why?
It's coming up soon, actually. It's coming up soon.
Let's see. So knight f6. In case I would be black, I would take immediately.
Yes,
just
yes,
to be
that
sure
was
that,
the best shot.
The knight will not escape. And actually, is it much better position, or it's just very close to equal?
No, close to equal. Yeah. I remember that being close to equal.
No, but I would also think that it's very close to equal because it's not so much. So knight f6 is also normal. f3, take, and play d5. Yeah, this is okay. The problem is that after b takes c4, probably there is d5 still, but this is slightly better for white. I'm sure that this is slightly better. Very, very sure. Bishop c4, not sure. By feeling, let's say I would take b takes c4 in this position. Georgi, what do you think?
Just since I know exactly what happened, I like bishop takes c4 decision, because right after d5, let's say, what happened, bishop d3 and rook going on c8, and this position I have given to my students minimum 100 times to different people, like minimum.
Okay.
Because this is quite interesting to think about. Let's say white has some choices, and I have seen the move candidates recommended like this: rook ac1, rook fc1, a4 to activate the bishop as well. I'm saying the most relative ones. I've heard g4, king h1 ideas as well, along with the correct idea, rook ae1.
Okay.
Funny thing is that e4, e5 is actually a crusher.
Yes.
And black is getting much, much worse position very soon there. I was shocked to see that because I've seen a lot of people just mentioning rook c1 to control the c file, which is absolutely logical as well, but or go for a4 to activate the bishop too. But the thing is that black achieves nothing along the c file. Like the only available squares they have is c6, c7, and c8, literally for the rooks. The only shot what white needs to watch out is something like a5, perhaps to go with bishop a6 ideas, but usually white responds with rook f2 against it, just so after bishop a6 they can tuck the bishop back on b1 and be on a safer side. This is how it usually is played, exactly this position. So after rook a e1, like e4 is too dangerous. D takes c4, f takes c4 just accelerates the attack. d5 breakthrough will be at some point. Otherwise, if white plays e4, later e5, then f4, f5 coming, it's tough to play already at this point with the black pieces. So exactly after rook e1, I remember even the evaluation was giving white roughly +1, and it was quite annoying for black to handle it. I'm not sure if Zukertort had it all planned out and the reason why he went for the straights and everything, but it worked out perfectly fine.
Okay, let's check, Georgi. So many things. Let's check a little bit one by one. So, in my opinion, again, I'm not so convinced to move bishop c4. This is number one. Because I believe in case black manages now to change the bishop, it's just completely equal. So let's say if I play now a5, what is even the little chance of white of being better? How do you avoid bishop a6? Is there a way to avoid after a5 the move bishop a6?
Let's say I move the queen on e2.
Yeah, but okay, now you'll never go e4 because I will have the move d5. Let's say I can start with rook fc8. Maybe you're slightly better, but not more than that, Georgi. This is the maximum I give you. It's to be slightly better.
That's what he was hoping for. So you're mentioning b takes c4 was a preferable capture, yes?
No, but usually, I don't know, because by feeling it's like you play bc, because probably black will have to play the move d5, otherwise I go e4, so this might be very dangerous. And in case you go d5, I have like clear plus equal.
We can include a4, I think,
I can go a4, I can take, it doesn't really matter, yeah? So all this is clearly plus equal. So
I think b takes c4 looks better, yes.
I don't know what looks better, but just bishop c4 is by far not obvious. And let's say that this position is plus minus. It's like, wow, how to get plus minus?
Not horizontal.
This I, this I understand, but
the bottom one, yes. Rook f2.
Okay, you play rook f2. I play bishop a6.
And tuck the bishop back on b1.
Okay, I play queen b4. How's this endgame can be plus minus? You're gonna take and then bishop c1, bishop d2 maybe, but
I don't remember exactly how it was, but I think I can pull it off, yes?
Like this, yeah? So you just get the
I
pawn.
think I can pull it off, yes.
No way to defend the pawn, okay. But plus minus, it's just, it feels too
much. I was shocked to see that too, actually. And all of a sudden this e-pawn is crashing through.
No defense against e4. Interesting.
That's very weird, I know.
Doesn't feel like it's like completely over. No, obviously white is better. This is clear, but that white has this kind of huge advantage, like +1 is a lot. So maybe.
And that's why Blackburne was shocked to see that. Definitely.
The +1, yeah.
Yes, he was thinking if it was that much or not. I guess maybe he was giving plus 0.5 perhaps or something like that.
Yeah.
But really, right after, especially the pawns just started marching, it went upside down completely. And I'll tell you what happened later.
Okay.
So basically,
rook c7.
Rook c7.
Not really a defense, no? Just a random move.
Definitely, Black couldn't really come up with anything sensible.
Okay.
But e4, and the taking was a bad option because it opens up the diagonal of the bishop as well, and some d5 ideas will be quite decisive. So Black went for rook c8. They found an interesting approach, in my opinion, e5 and knight e8. And after f4, he went for g6. And Black's idea is to play f5 next move. So this way, e takes f6, knight f6 to jump knight e4. They want to get something, basically. Because this light squared bishop on b7, so as the rooks are doing nothing at all.
And why I don't play the move f5 instantly?
Actually, I believe... what was the key reason? I can't recall exactly.
Okay, probably you can go like g4, but... No, okay, white is still much better.
Not a direct transposition, actually. Because white actually has played rook e3 to get to that point. Maybe after, let's say, f5 right away. It doesn't look like there is something direct. So if e takes knight f6, it will be almost the same there. Yeah, I think f5 was a bit more precise for Black to start with.
But I think,
but still,
in my opinion, this is still a very bad position. So it doesn't matter now what happens. f4, not 100% that white has to play f4, because maybe white could be more careful to avoid the move f5. So for example, white can start with g4 because Black has really zero counterplay, which is extremely important. This is also one of the reasons why, let's go back a little bit. In this position, rook e1, of course, rook c1 is a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake, not because it's a bad move, it's alright, and white as well doing much better, obviously with a bishop pair. One day bishop gets to a3, so white is doing better. But why rook c1 is a big mistake? Because in case you're defending a position, what you do, you try to aim for changes, and white would change by itself. So of course Black has to take and say thank you. You want to take with a rook, let me change one more pair of rooks. That's why strategically, when you're attacking, you try to keep as many pieces as you can, especially if there's absolutely no counterplay on the c file. Just imagine, let's say I do a move like rook c1, Black plays something random. What is the best move for white in the current position? It is still to go rook e1. So let's go back to the position to the game and we compare again. So we have this position at the moment. There is a move f4 and we have to calculate f5, which is not so easy because Black is gonna stop a little bit of white's play. Still, white is doing clearly better. Let's say g4. You can never take on g4 because there is f5. So g6 is almost the only approach that Black can do. Now maybe Black can take on g4, so we go h3. There is no counterplay on the c file. Black can do nothing. Then we play like rook e2, rook g2, king h2, rook g1, and at some moment we're gonna play take and then h4, h5. So
exactly.
white is having a very, very big advantage. And if this is not enough, we can always go a4 and bring the bishop over a3 to dominate even more on the diagonal, but only in case needed, because black theoretically is getting the c3 square back. f5 is not a big danger, but just in case you know that f5 might be coming, why not to play first the move g4, so we avoid all the tricks. There's basically no counterplay. Bishop is horrible on b7 once again. It seems like 150 years ago they underestimate a bit the bishop on b7. Each time we have a pawn on d5.
Yes.
So this is
yes, exactly. It's a common theme.
We see some pattern here. People from 150 years ago, pawn d5, bishop b7 in most of the games. Not a great idea. So f4 looks normal, not a bad move by any case, but maybe just a bit more careful to play first the move g4 to avoid some tricks. f4, g6, of course, g6 is looking bad because you will really get mated on the dark squares, except you go f5 next, but then why not to play f5 instantly? So there is no logic behind it. I think chess is mostly a logical game, so one move should fit to another in most of the cases. And here we don't see that. The move doesn't really fit. Okay, g6, rook e3. Very nice, rook is getting to h3. White is preparing probably for a mating attack, so it's going to be the one last attack. No, Georgi, it's getting...
Yes, indeed. And black found an interesting defensive resource. If not f5, I don't believe black can hold this position for long.
Yeah, but I think even by playing f5,
white is
it's not looking so well. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. White is not forced to take it en passant, but he took it, and it actually was a correct decision with the concrete sequence of moves.
It's
White could try to go with this h3, yes, because all of a sudden this e8 knight jumps to e4, which blocks the e file, b1 h7 diagonal at the same time, and if we take it, then this rook become active all of a sudden, and black is getting some counterplay. But anyhow, here white continued very accurately and pushed the pawn forward as well.
f5, yeah,
direct
nice,
threat,
looks
yes,
very, very nice.
Direct threat, which knight e4 is understandable, and he took. Okay. Because if he moves the queen away, let's say, e takes f5, I think black is doing fine already there.
Just a
absolutely
pawn,
fine.
Pawn for free.
Yes. So takes. But here's the tricky part after takes it. Rook c2 is coming.
Yes.
So
it's dangerous.
We should play quite precisely for white, otherwise black is coming after us. All of a sudden some counterplays appeared. And white takes on g6, which actually was a good decision as well. He just wants to open up the files as many as possible, which led to rook c2 immediately, because if black takes it with the pawn, there is rook g3 followed by queen h6 ideas, etc. Black can't really save this position anymore. It's too late. So
it's a mate?
I think it was already, yes, or losing the queen or something like
so
that, actually, along the lines there.
Cannot be avoided, yeah. Okay.
Yes, it was really too much there for them to handle. So rook c2 right away.
Yes, black is searching for counterplay, quite nice.
Exactly, and if not precise move, let's say after king h5, king h8, they're going to take the bishop after we move the queen.
Yes.
And that's where the magic kicks in. d5 check, mandatory move, e5, and the best move by far, which needs to be played here. If, let's say, we go d6, there is queen e6, no good follow-up. And in this critical moment, Zukertort has calculated the sequence where he sacrifices the queen to deliver mate. And instead of moving the queen on normal square, he puts it right on front of the front line and puts it on b4. If the queen takes, there is bishop e5. I think we need to show that sequence, and it's forced mate.
Sure, yeah.
After king h7, there is rook h3. King goes on g6, only move. If king g8, it's mate, rook g3.
Yeah, this is a beautiful mate, by the way.
Yes, and after king g6, there is rook g3, and no matter where the king goes with the sequence, it's losing. So let's say if king h7, rook f7, bishop f4, and rook h7 is coming, the king alone cannot protect the mate. And if the king goes on h6, let's say, rook f6 check, and we're waiting. If king h7 is the same, and if the king goes down, rook f5 check now. Either with bishop f4, rook h5, or bishop f6 would be mate there. Depends. So it's forced. So black can't actually touch the queen.
Mate, yeah. It's a very, very nice mate indeed, yeah.
Yes. And black just kept the queens on the board after queen b4 and played rook c5.
Okay, black is fighting. Black is fighting.
White went for another sacrifice. It was not enough and went for rook f8 check. And black, if queen takes it, it's going to be mate because of bishop e5, king h7, queen e4, and the queen ends up on g6 square and it's finished.
Yeah. Game
no
over.
Defense anymore. So black didn't touch the queen and didn't touch the rook either and went for king h7. But there already comes queen e4 in any case, king g7, and another nice combination, bishop e5, king f8, and a very impressive move, bishop g7
bishop g7
as well.
Is beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, if queen takes, it's mate, otherwise the queen is lost, and so is the game.
Bishop g7 is nice. Very nice.
This sequence of the combinations, imagine he prepared it from pushing, I believe, f5 perhaps, I'm not sure, or at least f takes g6 or g takes h7.
No,
and
I think
this
once you play
sequence
FG,
of the calculation,
you have to see, yeah.
You have to see it, yes.
You have to see it because otherwise it doesn't work at all. So nice.
Giving up the queen, giving up the rook, the bishop on g7 as well, and delivering mate was quite impressive indeed.
A very nice.
Zukertort could play chess well. You think this one is created or was played on the board? Just curious, because it was really
like,
quite a good one.
Like a normal game. I think this looks like completely
could
normal
happen,
game.
yes.
No, this one is looking absolutely normal, and back then the guys played very well, so they had good calculation. Calculation is possible. So again, I would advise to watch the games of Paul Morphy. Unbelievable chess. Really unbelievable chess, very high level chess, great calculation, great feeling for dynamic chess, and more than 100 years ago, so why not? Some of the guys been very, very strong in calculation and in dynamic approach. So for example, if you would say that are they good in defense, I would say rather not, because we don't see a lot of great defenders from 100 years ago, but attacking, yeah, I think very possible. So very, very beautiful game. D5,
Definitely.
yeah, opening the bishop just in time, but it feels like maybe black can try to defend the position. I don't know, Georgi, but no defense because rook f7
checked it
well,
up and there was nothing. Yes,
there's nothing. So
that was the best sequence, and still there was nothing.
Yeah,
it was better to start with f5 for black earlier instead of g6, I believe.
Yes. This is what we spoke about.
But yeah, it was tough position.
Very nice. Yeah. FG take, d5, queen b4. Yeah, like all is very forced, and rook c5 as well. A very normal move. Probably queen g7 could be tried as well. So probably something is winning here.
Bishop e5 we can try probably.
Because bishop e5 has to be played. G2 is hanging.
Yes, otherwise we're getting mated. Yes.
And the bishop is hanging.
Maybe he has calculated this as well.
G3.
I'm not sure. Rook g3.
Rook
Okay,
G3, yeah.
Rook g3 should be
G3
good.
Is better. So immediately game over. So there is no queen g7. What else black can try here? I don't think there is something else to try. So
queen's taking the queen is a forced mate. Otherwise, you need to pay attention to e5 as well.
Yes, beautiful.
And these are really impressive bishop e5, bishop g7 plans as well.
Yes,
so.
Very, very nice end of a nice game. So yeah, impressive play by Zukertort. Very, very nice. All right, so that's it for today. In case you enjoyed it, please subscribe, click the like button so we gain some traction, because we just started. It's so difficult to be visible, and we would be thankful in case you enjoy, of course, what we do here, help us a little bit by subscribing and clicking the like button. Georgi, your last words, because actually you've been there during the game, so last words.
Yes, it was quite impressive, and we were throwing the gold coins in the scene, actually, just cheering, applauding, and everything after seeing that. So it was fascinating
That's nice.
experience. So it was really good.
That's nice. Okay, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did to watch the legendary games. This is just the first time we did it. We will do as well many more days of that to cover at least few of the top players from the era. That's it. So thank you. Probably tomorrow we're gonna stream again, so join us. Otherwise, we wish you all a nice evening. For us, it's already late. We go to bed. Thank you very much. Have a good evening and bye.